Have you ever seen a cow with horns so big they look like tree branches? These aren't just any cows. They're called Ankole-Watusi, and they're some of the most eye-catching cattle in the world. In this video, we're going to explore the incredible history of this breed. We'll look at where they came from, why they were so important in African culture, and how they're still making an impact today. Let's start by going back thousands of years to the very beginning. The Ankole-Watusi cattle come from East Africa, especially countries like Uganda, Rwanda, and Burundi. But their story goes back much farther than that, all the way to ancient times. These cattle are part of a group called Sangha cattle. That means they're a mix of two older types of cows. One is Bos taurus, which came from Europe and the Middle East. The other is Bos indicus, or Zebu cattle, which came from India. Thousands of years ago, people began moving cattle across Africa. As they traveled, they brought these two kinds together. That's how Sangha cattle, including the Ankole-Watusi, were born. Some of the earliest pictures of longhorned cattle were found in ancient Egyptian tombs and African rock art. That shows how far back their story goes, over 6,000 years. Back then, these cattle weren't just used for milk or meat. They were part of people's way of life. Families depended on them for food, trade, and survival. After thousands of years of evolving in the wilds of East Africa, the Ankole-Watusi developed more than just their famous horns. Their behavior and personality also set them apart. Let's take a closer look at what makes their temperament so special. Even with their huge, powerful horns, Ankole-Watusi cattle are known for being gentle and calm. Most owners say they're easy to manage and enjoy being around people, especially when raised with care from a young age. Their calm nature makes them popular in zoos, shows, and conservation farms where visitors can get surprisingly close. They don't spook easily, and even the big bulls often walk slowly and confidently, not aggressively. But make no mistake, they're also alert and protective, especially when it comes to their calves. They'll use those massive horns to defend their herd if they feel threatened. This perfect balance of gentle and brave makes the Ankole-Watusi a truly remarkable breed. With their calm strength and noble presence, it's no wonder these cattle earned a special place in African history and tradition. In East Africa, the Ankole-Watusi cattle became much more than just livestock. They were a sign of wealth, power, and tradition, especially among the Tutsi people of Rwanda and Burundi. In these communities, owning a large herd of Ankole-Watusi was a big deal. The cattle with the biggest horns were seen as the most valuable, and only wealthy or royal families had the best ones. That's why people started calling them the cattle of kings. These cattle were so important that they were often given names, just like people. Owners knew each cow by name, and some were passed down through generations like family heirlooms. Ankole-Watusi were also used in special ceremonies. They were part of weddings, peace offerings, and festivals. People believed the cattle brought blessings, strength, and good fortune. Even today, in some parts of Uganda, the royal herds are cared for with great respect. These cows still represent the history and pride of the people. Now, let's find out how these royal cattle traveled far beyond Africa and what happened when the world saw them for the first time. For thousands of years, Ankole-Watusi cattle stayed mostly in East Africa, but in the 20th century, everything changed. People around the world began to notice these amazing animals, especially their giant, twisty horns. In the 1960s, the first Ankole-Watusi cattle were brought to the United States. Ranchers and exotic animal breeders were curious. These cattle weren't just for farming. They became stars at zoos, wildlife parks, and cattle shows. Their horns, which can grow up to 8 feet wide, drew huge crowds. People started calling them the cattle of kings, even outside Africa. Today, you can find Ankole-Watusi herds in places like the US, Europe, and South America. They are often used to add genetic diversity to cattle breeding programs. Some ranchers raise them for lean meat, while others keep them as a kind of living art. Even though they've gone global, Ankole-Watusi cattle still carry their African roots with pride. But in today's world, where farming is changing fast, how do Ankole-Watusi cattle fit in? Let's take a look at their role now and what the future might hold. Today, Ankole-Watusi cattle are used in many different ways, but their numbers in Africa are starting to shrink. Some farmers raise them for meat, which is low in fat and full of flavor. Others breed them to preserve their bloodlines or to create hardy crossbreeds. Their ability to survive with little food and water makes them perfect for tough climates. But as farming becomes more focused on fast-growing breeds, many African farmers are switching to cattle like Holsteins or Brahmans. These cows may produce more milk or meat quickly, but they aren't always as tough or well-suited to African lands. That's why groups in Uganda, Rwanda, and other countries are working hard to protect and promote the Ankole-Watusi. Some farmers have formed cooperatives to raise awareness and encourage young people to care for these animals. Outside of Africa, ranchers and breeders also play a role in keeping the breed alive. Zoos, wildlife parks, and conservation farms help maintain healthy herds and introduce the cattle to new generations. They may have ancient roots, but the Ankole-Watusi aren't stuck in the past. In fact, they might be the perfect cattle for the future. The Ankole-Watusi cattle are more than just animals with big horns. They are living symbols of survival, culture, and beauty. For thousands of years, they've helped people thrive in some of the harshest environments on Earth. They've been treated like royalty, carried deep cultural meaning, and inspired respect from anyone who sees them. Even as modern farming changes, these cattle still have an important role to play, not just in Africa, but around the world. Their strength, adaptability, and history make them a rare and valuable breed. Whether standing in the dusty plains of Uganda or grazing on ranches in Texas, Ankole-Watusi cattle remind us of a powerful truth. Heritage matters, and when we protect it, we carry something amazing into the future. If you enjoyed learning about this incredible breed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments, what animals should we cover next?